everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start off with the craft portion of the CHA haul. And actually I went to the CHA Supershow, not to the CHA trade show. I didn't have a ticket to get into that. So the CHA Supershow was where you could actually buy things. And it was actually combined this year with the jewelry, fashion, and accessory show. And this is the booklet that you got. And I have to say that this one, when I first decided to go to the CHA Super Show, I was reading online and from some people on splitcoatstampers.com, and they were saying that they only had a few, or were only going to have a few vendors craft related. There was predominantly more of the jewelry fashion. So I wasn't going to go, but then I decided, my girlfriend and I decided, well, why not? We might as well go. It was free to get in, but it was $13 to park. So I guess you can say we spent $6.50 a piece to get in because we had to pay for the parking. And I also decided to go because I found out from someone else who went on Friday, and we actually went on Saturday, that even though they only had about 20 booths for crafting, they did pick up a lot. And there was one vendor there that I really wanted to see and purchase some things from that was there. So I decided, it was worth the trip to go. And I have to tell you, it was definitely worth the trip. And because I'm also a beader, or I make my own jewelry, this show ended up being very useful for me because I was able to pick up some pre-made jewelry that there's no way I could have made it for the price that I picked it up. And it also gave me ideas on some jewelry that I did pick up that I can probably actually make from some of the beads and things that I have already. So you can see they had all the vendors listed in this booklet, and this place was huge. We did not make it through the whole thing, and we got there at 9:15. The show opened at 9:30. It was an hour and a half drive for us, and we were there until the show closed at 5:30. They actually started turning the lights off to let people know that they had to stop selling and that they had to leave. So if I go, which I'm sure I will next year, I am going to probably go for 2 days because we could not see it all in one day. Even if you're not a bead worker or make your own jewelry, you can still see some of the stuff that I got, because some of the things that I got to actually use as charms for my mini albums when I start making my mini albums again, or charms to put on a card. So let's get started. The first thing was they gave, for the first 500 people that came to the show, they gave away these free headbands and these little hair clips. And the hair clips have Hello Kitty on them. Now, my girlfriend doesn't wear headbands. I do, so she gave me hers. And they were donated by K Accessories. The website is herstyle365.com. And what I'm going to do is, I may say the name of the website where I purchased everything, but at the end of the video, I'll list the name of the vendor and their website in case anybody's interested in going to their website and purchasing something. So, let me get started and go through my pile. The first booth that we stopped at, and this is the booth that I really was glad to see that they were there, is My Favorite Things. And they gave away this bag with your purchase. And the website, as you can see right here, is mftstamps.com. So I'm going to show you what I got. I have been looking on their website at their, what they call dynamics. And you can run them through your Cuttlebug, your Big Shot, as well as your Vagabond. And I actually found out about them from Arlene, whose channel is My Butterfly Kisses 12. And I met with some of the ladies at the booth, and they talked about Arlene being one of their designers. She's on their design team. And I let them know that Arlene has kind of got me what started into doing the YouTube videos and getting hooked on Glimmer Mist. So this is one of the doily dies that I purchased. And it looks like this. And then, let me flip these over. I also purchased this die as well. And this die is called the Dainty Doily Duo. And this one is called the Leafy Flourish. And it looks like this. And she had samples, or my favorite things, they had samples of cards made up using the different doilies. And that's what I like, because they had samples of cards. Since cards are what I mostly do, I don't do a lot of scrapbooking and layouts. And this die is called the File Tab. Now, what they did with this die, and I'm sorry for the glare, is sometimes when I'm making a card, I run out of room as to putting the greeting that I want to put on the front. So what they had done is they've taken the die and put it on the edge of the top layer of the card and then stamp something out on that. So I thought that was really unique, and it gave me the idea of how I can still put a greeting or a sentiment on the front of my card, even though I have my ribbon, my flower, or whatever else I put on the card. So that's why I picked that one up. And because I'm a sewer and I love to sew, I also picked up this kit. And I kind of got this for myself and for my mother. And this also included the stamps as well as the die themselves. So you get the dress form, you get the tape measure, the scissors, the thimble, and the thread. And the tape measure and the thimble and the scissors, they actually emboss as well. So it looks like this. And this is called So Nifty Die Set. And the other thing that's really good about this, if you go on their website and if you purchase any of their dies, if you look on the back, it gives you the sandwich stack for each one of the die cutting machines. So you have the Big Shot, the Cuttlebug, the Vagabond, and the Wizard. And you can also go on the website and see this as well. Now, I had seen Arlene make several flowers using this die. And I know I do have the Tim Holtz version as well. But I picked this up anyway because I think my Tim Holtz one is a little bit smaller. So, and this is called the Large Rolled Rose. And they actually were using felt to make these. And so then I got the next size down, which is this one. And then you also get the next one, and then the really tiny one. And like I said, I've seen Arlene make flowers with this, so I decided to pick that up as well. Now this one is called the Roll Daisy. And I got this one because I like the way they did flowers and roses and they stacked them. And then they had the lollipop one. Or they're calling it a rolled flower, but they actually had it set up like a lollipop flower, except they weren't using the circles. So I decided to get that one as well because I liked the way it looked on the card. And then I picked up another doily, and this doily is the decorative doily. And it looks like this. Oh, sorry for the glare. And then I got this stamp set because I purchased so many of the the dynamics. I'm going to move these out the way so you don't have that glare. I also got this stamp set free. And I like this one because it had some man things on there. And I don't have a lot of stamps for men. So we've got I Love You More. And more is spelled M-O-W-E-R. And the only difference between men and boys is the cost of their toys. There aren't enough days in the weekend. And it says, I love you. Oh, I'm sorry. The name of the set is I Love You More. Yes, that's the name of the stamp set. You are so much cuter than the pool boy. Happy Father's Day. Honey-do list. And I really like that one because I always give my husband a honey-do list for things that he needs to do around the house. Life begins at retirement. Happy birthday and many more. M-O-W-E-R. And you're a cut above, and it has the lawnmower and the guy. So that was my free stamp set for all of the dynamics that I purchased. And then they also, for every purchase, and I got this stamp set because of the fact that I purchased so many of the dynamics. They had a deal going. I don't remember what it was. Money-wise, it was two things you got if you purchased one amount, and a second one if you purchased a higher amount. And then everyone that purchased anything, you got a free stamp set. And this is mostly for sympathy cards, which I don't like to do sympathy cards, but I do them. And it's just to show, you know, the person that I care about what happened. And I never have enough sayings for that, so I'm glad I picked up that one. Or that they gave that one away free. So that was from My Favorite Things. So now, the next booth that I stopped at, this booth was called The Stamp Doctor. And their website is stampdoctor.com. So now, what I've got from them is, I have it's called the Quick Stick. And it looks like this. It's by Quick Cuts. But I found with this that when I'm adding my bling, when I'm not using my iRock tool, that it says that there's no residue on this, but that's not true. There is a residue that is left on your bling when you put this down. I don't know if it's because maybe I'm pressing too hard when I pick it up and then press it down, or what the issue is, but I'm not happy with the pen. And the other thing I don't like is that this is always oozing out. To get it to come out, you're supposed to turn it, but even with me just having it laid down flat, it's always oozing out, and I just feel like that's a waste. So, while I was at the show, at this booth, the demonstrator was using this stick 'em up, and it's especially formulated for picking up small, little bitty items and sticking them on your card. And when I say small, itty bitty, what I mean is whether it be bling, or I picked up these little stars, and I got these for my Christmas cards. And this one, these right here are Christmas trees, and I'll put some so you can see what they look like. The little sequins. Now, as you all know, that would be so difficult to pick up by hand. So, and I have some silver, gold, and then the rainbow color. But with this tool, you dip the little stick, you just press it into this. I'm not sure what this is made out of inside here. And you can pick it up with this stick, and it picks up and doesn't leave a residue. And it's so quick to use. And you don't have to dip it into this every single time. So you can do your whole project and only have to stick it once. And then if you notice that it's no longer picking up, then you can stick it in again. But you don't have to constantly keep taking the stick and sticking it in, picking up your item back and forth. So I really like that, so I purchased that. And then I purchased this dynamic, well, it's not dynamic. I'm sorry. It is a die cut, but it's a die cut for the flip fold card. And she came up with this design, the demonstrator, on how to use this for you to make the flip fold cards where you don't have to do all the scoring, the measuring, and the figuring out how far you cut down and how far you should score. So I grabbed this because I really like that, and I really want to make some more of those cards like that. So stay tuned for a video in the future using this die for making cards. And then I picked up the small wing, the 2-layer die, and it's the small wings and it's butterflies. And what these dies, or how they work, is you would put this part of the die on the fold, and it would automatically crease it because you only have half the die, and it automatically creases it so that when you want to, your butterfly will stick up or fold up and you don't have to bend it. It already is scored that way. So they had that, the small one, or actually, yeah, this is the small one. Let me put that back in there. And then I got the smallest one. I'm sorry for the glare. It looks like that. And then this is the piece that goes on top of the butterfly. So you can do a 2-layer, as you can see, this behind here is the single solid layer, and then this layer is on top. And I like this, even though I use my Monarch Butterfly Punch by Martha Stewart, I like this because I can use heavier paper. The Martha Stewart dies, you have to watch what size or what kind of cardstock you use in there. So, and then I just have one more of the sequin stars. And then this is the top layer for the small butterfly. This is just the top layer. Okay, and then the other thing I picked up was some of the microfine glitter Twinkle is the color. And she was using this on the card, and I liked the way it came out, so I picked up some of that. And then they gave me 2 little scoops free for my purchase. And then she also was using this glue. It's called the Rubber Cafe Scrap Happy Sheer Glue, and it says it's perfect for scrapbooking and card making. Now I grabbed this because she was using this at the show, and as she was standing there giving the demo, there were several women that came up that were buying 2 and 3 bottles of this, and they were just raving about how good this glue is, and it does have a fine tip on it. So anytime I see someone grabbing more than one and that they rave about it, I figure it must be really good. So I just picked up 1 bottle for now to try it out. And if I like it, then I'll go ahead and purchase some more. So that was what I got from the Stamp Doctor. So let's move on to the next vendor. I am really glad that I saved and saved and saved for this show, because I could only do this particular show once a year, because I really bought quite a bit. Now, the next craft vendor I went to is called the Happy Crafters, and they are actually located in Wisconsin. So they're in Port Washington, and their website is happycrafter.com. And they actually had a free make and take. I didn't stay for the whole thing because we needed to get going, because there was so much to see, and I knew we were not going to make it through the whole show. So I only did part of it. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's a card that I embossed. And actually, my girlfriend bought this for me as a gift for my birthday. Thank you, Elizabeth. And what it is it's a multi-design embossing board. And it has, they had on the table a little booklet that you can make and use the embossing for this. So you get this mini book, and there's also inside this one there's also a heart shape. So let me take this out. So you have the book, then you have the book that's a bell, then you have the book that's a flower, and then if you turn it over, you have the heart book. And that's kind of what sold me on it. Or I was going to, like I said, buy it myself, but Elizabeth bought it for me, which was really sweet of her. And they had this one in a booklet, and then they had something behind it. They had potpourri behind it. And I really liked that idea. So I decided to go ahead and purchase it. But like I said, she purchased it for me. And then they have a website on how you can go on there to see some of their other ideas. So I got that. And then they gave, if you bought the board, and they call it the slicker sheets, and what the slicker sheets are is this is just to help you with the embossing. You rub the slicker sheet on your paper so that your stylus, which this is a stylus, will glide across a lot easier. Now I have lots of stylus, but because if you bought the stylus, the sticker sheets, and the peel off borders, which look like this. So these are little mini pieces, self-adhesive stickers. Let me take that out so you can see what it is. That you just peel. And I don't want to actually peel one off. And you can add them on your card any way you want. So if you got this set, it was $25. If you bought just the board, and they call it their basics kit. If you bought just the board was just $20. So she why not add $5 more and get the whole set? So that's what we did. We each got one. And then because we purchased, or she purchased, 2 of the set, the basic kits, he threw in the bow maker. And this basically is, you set this down, and it's got 2 holes here, so I'd probably have my husband nail this down to my table. And you wrap your ribbon around, and you can make yourself a bow. Even though I have a easy bow maker, because he was throwing this in because we bought the kit, or she bought the kit, I thought, oh, that's good. It was free. Why not? You know, we'll all take something that's free, right? Okay, so now, the last thing that I bought, oh, no, that's not the last thing. I went to the Heartfelt Creations booth, and I've went to this one before when I went to the rubber stamp show here in my city. And their web address is heartfeltcreations.us. And what they have is a lot of the spellbinder dies that also match some rubber stamps. So I purchased from them when they were at the rubber stamp show before. So if you go back to my haul from the rubber stamp show, I believe that was in May. I think it was in May. You can see what I bought from them. But while I was there, I had to talk to the guy about the rubber stamp and the spellbinder die, because of the fact that when I stamped out my image and then went back to recut it with the spellbinder's die, mine was never coming out even. So I wanted to talk to him and have him demo for me what I was doing wrong, which he did, and he ended up making this little flower for me. And he showed me a technique where you can buy what they call sticky back paper and put that on your cardstock, and then peel off the backing from the sticky back paper. And you probably could run it through your Xyron if you have a Xyron machine, and try it that way too. But that sticky back paper is just a little bit stickier, And after you peel off the backing, you immediately stamp your image. And you're probably wondering, what does that do? Well, then after you stamp your image, you can take the superfine glitter and sprinkle it all along there. And that's what he did, and that's how it ended up coming out like this. And then, of course, he ran it through the Spellbinder Posy dye. Now, what I bought from them that I meant to get when I was there the last time and I didn't was this, it's called Gala Glitz. And I got the gold color, and that's what that is in the middle there. It's a mixture of beads, sequins, and several other things. I'm not quite sure. I know that there's beads and sequins in there, and they're mixed together. And this came in several colors, but I decided to just start off with the gold because I can use that on my Christmas cards. And then I picked up this metal tip because he used this glue. It's called a designer clear adhesive glue to make sure that these stick down and stay. Because even though you do have that sticky back paper on there and you've put the glitter on there as well, you want something to make this the glitz or the bling stick. So he used this glue, and I already had this glue. I bought this, I would say, about 7 or 8 years ago from a local rubber stamp shop that was going out of business. And I put it somewhere, which a lot of us do, and I forgot where I had put it. When I was cleaning out my scrap room, I found it. So I was glad, and I remembered the bottle and what it looked like, so I knew I had it. But I also bought this tip because I didn't think I had the tip. Well, guess what? I did have the tip. So now I have 2 of them. And I also have the same glue, and I bought this about 4 years ago at the local rubber stamp convention, not knowing that I had this one. So I thought when I was preparing for this that I checked all of my stuff, and I did make a list of what I was definitely going there to get. But I guess there was stuff that I didn't check to see that I already had. But I know a lot of us do that. We buy so much and forget that we have it. So that's why I'm trying to use up a lot of the things that I have been buying so that I don't rebuy. And it's starting to get really expensive, what I've been purchasing.